What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We got a live CHGO Bulls pod coming up for you all right around the corner. Lots to get to today. Lonzo Ball speaks on his wrist injury recovery at practice earlier today. We're talking money attached to both Josh Giddey and Coby White in upcoming negotiations. Plus, Billy Donovan talked about winning culture on the radio. We'll break it down next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into the CHGO Bulls Podcast. Giddey! Oh my goodness!
Shout out to Steven's legs.
You got a shot of Steven's glorious legs as well.
Yeah, man, it's leg day for him.
What a
man.
start!
Shout out to him. He was golfing today too.
Katie's
Flexible in the jeans.
Steven's legs.
Well done.
Along with CHGO Bulls, of course, presented by Bet365. Don't forget that promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. $5 in on your first bet, $150 in bonus bets. I'm Peck Bulls _ Peck. That's Big Day. Bam. BNWL Sports. Will the Go Gottlieb, perfectly coiffed. Will _ Gottlieb. And yes, that is the one and only queen of the controls, Katie Duffy. What's up, Katie?
Hi, I'm here, apparently.
Hi.
In case you didn't already know, Katie's here.
Katie's here, y'all.
Katie is here. What up,
Let
y'all?
y'all know.
In Bulls Nation.
She's in a fair.
Shout out to you hanging out with us on YouTube. Hit that like button now.
Slap it.
Katie doesn't bother you about it for the next hour. Before diving into who's hot and who's not, gentlemen, just real quick shout out to our CHGO Cubs crew and our production crew working tirelessly over the last week. Big announcement, in case you missed it earlier today, the rollout of the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. This is the beginning of an, sort of like a CHGO wide and then eventually ALLCITY wide initiative that we're taking. A lot of people have requested individual channels for the individual teams because we know some Bulls fans out there, rabid as they are among Bulls Nation, are not necessarily Bears fans or White Sox fans or Blackhawks fans, what have you. So CHGO Cubs is the test dummy, as they would say. So make sure if you are a Cubs fan out there as well as a Bulls fan, go give that channel a subscribe so you know every time Cubs are off and rolling, as we are about to hit baseball season for realsies.
Yeah, it's on the way, man. They'll be doing a watch along as well on Thursday. So you guys tune in for that as well. So yeah, Stuck, Cody, be in full effect, man. Shout out Sarah. She'll be producing. Should be fun.
Should be fun. All right, so with that, let us dive into who's hot and who's not, presented by our friends at Prize Picks. Before we get into who's hot and who's not for real, question, gentlemen, is Lonzo Ball hot? Is he about to be hot? Is he ramping up towards being hot?
I can tell you this. I know one person who can answer that question.
Who's that?
Will the Gottlieb.
Will the Gottlieb. Will, you and your fellow beat members were able to chat with Lonzo at today's practice?
Yes, we were. I would say he is not hot, not cold, but warm. He's getting himself ready to play.
Room temperature.
He initially was like, right off the bat, I'm not playing tomorrow against the Lakers. And he said he's going to give himself another week. And then we kind of asked him, does that mean you're going to be back for the end of the regular season? Does that mean you're going to be back for the play-in, playoffs? And, he was kind of saying he's not pain-free right now. He is getting better. We saw him play 5-on-5 with some of the other players and player development staff, and he looked good. So I think he's still struggling to get full extension on his shot, which has been kind of the problem with his wrist. But it does seem like he is going to be trending towards a return, and he said that he would be playing by at least the plan.
Did he say that the wrist had been bothering him previously, or is it something that just happened at that one time? And
he's been out for now 10 or 11 games. And I think he just kind of landed on it weird. It's the same wrist that he injured earlier on in the year that cost him a month. Yeah. And that could have been a, season-ending injury had he required surgery. And so I think, yes, there's a lot of pain, and I think it's getting better, but they're just trying to avoid it becoming a more serious issue that they do have to operate on.
Will, the cameraman, the Gottlieb, was able to capture some of that chat with Lonzo at practice earlier today. Katie, if you will, take a look, Bulls Nation.
Not Will, the camera.
Out there and kind of getting up and down again, and you think you're going to play tomorrow?
I'm not playing tomorrow for sure. Not. I'll probably give another week. I'm just getting up and down with the guys, get back accumulated with the team, and go from there. Still a little bit away, but I'm happy to be back out there. Just want to get a little bit more comfortable, my win and stuff.
Why a week if you're already taking contact and scrimmaging full?
Just to get back into the playing rhythm. I've been out. I don't want to come back, too early and just do something that, doesn't need to be done. Try to give another week of healing. It's getting there, but it's still not there yet. But like I said, I'm back out there with the guys at least, getting up and down, getting the reps in. It's better than just running line. So.
There's only 2 weeks left in the season. Do you feel like you will for sure make a comeback before the end of the regular season?
Yeah, we're in a pretty good spot right now at 9. I feel like we're getting up to be in the play-in. We know we got to win 2 games, so that's the goal for us right now. That's why I'm just trying to get as healthy as possible before that happens and do what I can to help the team win. Yeah.
Is it pain for you?
That was Bulls guard Lonzo Ball at practice earlier today. Good to see him out there.
Yeah.
Clearly worked up a sweat. He was dabbing himself off with a towel in that interview.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you said he basically ruled out, I'm not playing this week. But Bulls put out an injury report today, and he was upgraded to questionable on the injury report. And, usually as a player is preparing to make their comeback from an extended absence from whatever injury, they will move, from out to doubtful, questionable, probable, game time decision, or whatever it might be. He ruled out playing this week, but they put questionable, not doubtful. I find that interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why they did that. I'm finding out about it same as you guys. So, I'm taking Lonzo's word for it. I would imagine he is probably going to be a while. I know they've got a game tomorrow and Saturday, so it's like not quite every other day or back-to-backs the way that it was last week. But I think I'm going to take his word for it when he says he's going to take another week.
Yeah, he's been pretty, straightforward, with how he feels and his health. So, yeah, I'll take him at his word.
And, whether or not he's ready and hot for the last 10 games of the regular season, I think what the Bulls could be envisioning is a healthy Lonzo Ball chasing around Donovan Mitchell and or Darius Garland in a playoff series.
Without a doubt.
Jason Tatum and or Jaylen Brown in a potential playoff series.
Oh, they're going to need him.
Because whatever odds or chances the Bulls might have, if they find themselves winning out of the play-in tournament into a first-round matchup as an 8th seed, maybe even a 7th seed, whatever those odds are going into that series, they are higher if Lonzo Ball is active and playing.
Makes life simpler knowing that Billy can just throw him in the game for anything, whether it's defense, whether it's getting your offense set, whether it's getting to the half court, whether it's getting on the fast break. He just makes it all better. He makes things very simple for guys out there. And if his three-point shot is working, it's just extra icing on the cake for a guy like that. So, and you just want the best for Lonzo, man, because he's just a good guy, just a good dude. So, and I like the fact he was talking a little greasy about having all the guards. He was like, y'all was giving us crap for having all these guards. Guess it comes in handy now, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I like this. I like that. Talk the stuff, man. When you're winning this, when you can, get on your thing like that. So, yeah, man, it's just good to hear from him. And it's always good to see him back on the floor.
Referencing that quick little cameo at the beginning, Devin in the comments said, Stephen and Katie Bulls backcourt of the future? Much to consider here. The Bulls have so many options at guard.
Oh, yeah.
Katie and Stephen included.
Well, Katie's running point.
That would hurt Goat's feelings because Goat actually did try out for the Windy City Bulls.
Just because I tried out does not mean I made it.
But you never got a firm no.
I never heard the firm no.
I think it's Goat over me. It can be Goat and Steven. I think that's good.
I don't know.
Well, we know Steven and his cold showers.
Steven and his cold showers would be great.
I think the Bulls have some guys they feel pretty good about in their backcourt. Don't need my help.
Yeah. They feel pretty good about Coby White and Josh Giddey right now.
Exactly my point.
Josh Giddey and Coby White, very hot right now. So hot right now.
Scorching.
Shout out Mugatu. Guys, we've been talking about this duo a lot in this recent stretch, and for good reason. They are the headline. The way that they've been playing and the way they've been playing leading to lots of these Bulls wins. I'm like the pre and post All-Star break numbers continue to get more and more ridiculous, Dave.
Gets really dumb. Adam, what's up, man? Just out there out. Gets really crazy, and crazy in a good way. I mean, like these numbers that these guys are putting up are really astronomical. And I wanted to go and see what does it look like before and after that All-Star break, because we've watched every single game. We know this was a whole different team, and these guys were playing a different type of basketball pre-All-Star break. But after that All-Star break, whether it's been the freedom, whether it's just been we click together, or whether it's just we enjoy getting out on the run and Billy Donovan has just got everything working, whatever it is definitely clicked for this team. And I want to start by going through those two guys. And I'm going to start with Coby White first, because Coby White is doing some stuff, and he's doing some things. Look at him pre-All-Star game. And again, 48 games is a sample
sizes
size.
are different sizes.
Yes, correct. They're different sizes. But 18, 3, 4, 42 from the field, 37 from 3, a minus 4.8. 17 games post-All-Star break. Obviously, the points jump out at you because he just went crazy. But it's so interesting because the three-point percentage went down. So it's like if your three-point percentage goes down, well, then how are you scoring? Well, take a look at the field goal shooting and what he's doing. He's also shooting very efficiently, because his efficient field goal percentage was 53% pre-All-Star break. It's now at 60. Whew. So he is getting more efficient with his shot.
That stat is a measurement of putting more weight on threes than twos.
Yes.
That is crazy.
Take that in. It's 60. So shooting the less percentage, but cash money, he's hitting them. And we've seen from where he's taking those shots and what he's doing. And, of course, that plus-minus jumps out at you as well. Like, he has completely flipped his entire game around, and it just looks more comfortable and better for him. I like how his rebounds go up along with his points. I like how his assists go up along with his points. But Coby, the point I'm making here about him is the season he was having, like stat-wise, that's not completely a horrible season. That is an average Coby White season.
Yeah.
I know Kobe's baseline.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what we looked at. And his peak is kind of what we're looking at right now. So we're looking at some peak Coby doing some things. And I find his sustainable, because even from 2-point, he was shooting 50%. Before the All-Star break, he's shooting, again, 60% from 2-point after the All-Star break. So he's putting the ball into the bucket, and he's doing it at a heck of a rate, man. And I find his, just watching it, just super sustainable, because it doesn't seem completely outrageous. You know what I'm saying? Like, just completely outrageous. So when I see it, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see Coby continuing this. Free throw percentage didn't really change. Yeah, I'm rocking with it. I'm cool with that. Now going to my main man, Josh Giddey.
Main man burn.
Shout out Devin Smith. Shout out to you being here, Fred. This part is for you. Shout out to Josh Giddey, because Josh Giddey, let's take a look at what he's doing. So look at him pre-All-Star break. I want y'all to look. That's 51 games he did this in. That's a pretty big sample size. 12, 7, and 6 is
classic Giddey.
Classic Giddey.
Yeah.
The 44% from the field, the 34 from 3, which is a little more of an uptick, and the plus-minus of -4. That is honestly a Josh Giddey kind of thing.
Yep.
Post All-Star break, Josh Giddey said, roar. He lost it. That man is putting up Joker numbers.
Truly.
Like, seriously, look at that.
Well, you know, instead of 30, 10, and 10, it's 22, 10, and 10.
Well,
but still.
Putting a little Westbrookian.
Yeah, there you go.
Westbrookian numbers he's throwing in. 22, 10, and 9. The 54% from the field is dwarfed by the 53% from the three-point line. And the change of the plus-minus, man, is crazy. Like, going from that -4 to a +10 to plus 10.3 is wild stuff to me. And again, he is also getting to the free throw line. The free throw attempts were 2.2 pre-All-Star break. They're 5.7 right now. He is getting to the line. The efficiency of his field goal percentage, 51 before the All-Star break, 61 during this 12-game stretch that he has going on.
Man.
He has been lights out. Seeing it at 54 and seeing it at 12 is two different things to me. One, I'm like, okay, that's what it is.
Right.
54 games,
Yeah.
you know, we can, I don't want to say hang your hat on it, but you're like, okay, that's a good sample size. 12 games is a stretch. He's on an incredible stretch right now. Now, it could be a stretch that gets him paid a lot of money. It's a stretch that a lot of people are excited to watch and are going crazy for and saying, you see, he's the greatest ever. let's hope that continues. I would love to see this continue and keep up for a guy like Josh Giddey, because he's never done this. The difference for me is I've seen Coby do this. I've watched it. I've watched Coby do these kind of things. So even when he was just at his baseline and then he upticked, it makes sense.
Right.
Giddey became a whole different basketball player in these 12 games. That's why we pump the brakes a little bit on Josh Giddey and just want to see it a little bit more consistency.
We got to take our first break, but real quick, City fan in the comments, one of our favorite friends. How does the absence of Zach LaVine play into the post-All-Star break explosion of these two? I would say directly. And you just kind of floated the insane production and how it may work into these contract negotiations. We will get Mr. Salary Cap over here's thoughts on that after the break. Hit the like button if you're hanging out with us here in that YouTube chat. Do it for Katie. No, just do it for Katie. Today's show brought to you by Prize Picks, y'all. Prize Picks, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Get some of them picks in. We are nearing the home stretch of the basketball season. We've also got some madness marching going on.
Madness.
Yeah. The sweetness of the 16 happening tomorrow and Friday. Can't wait for it.
Can't wait.
Epic NBA matchups down the stretch as well. So what are you waiting for? The race to the playoffs is on. The best place to cash in on your favorite sports is Prize Picks. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesdays. You missed it yesterday. Yeah. You missed it. It's okay. There'll be another one next Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select players' projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 U.S. states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. The app is super easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more than or less than on a few different player stats, projected stats, for your shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. On Prize Picks, you can even mix and match lineups and player projections from different sports. You say, hey, the Bulls and Hawks are both playing tonight. Let me make a Prize Picks lineup. A little Connor Bedard over here, a little Coby White over here. Why not? 2 TVs in the living room. This is how we live, people. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup, y'all. You don't even need to win that $5 lineup. You get the $50 either way, guaranteed. So, download that Prize Picks app today. Use promo code CHGO to take advantage of that $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks! Run your game.
Run it! Oh, Matt, why don't you go ahead? Talk about your favorite thing.
I can't.
You know why?
It's not here.
It's not here.
It's a stupid bottle of water.
Yeah, I saw it. I noticed it. So I wanted to point it out. You see how upset he just immediately got?
So bad.
That's what just happened right there, because he don't have that can of that Sam Adams light. But wait, he is trying to fix it immediately. And also, this is why GOAT, he's looking cool, but there's a comfort level that he's missing because he don't have on that Sam Adams hoodie, y'all.
It's true.
It's true. Oh, hoodies and
That's
light
true.
beer just got better. Why? Because it's Sam Adams American Light. It's clean. It's crisp. It is super easy to drink. There's no gimmicks. There's no fluff. There's no woozies or whatsies. And the conquering hero has returned. Look at the joy that just came back on that young man's face.
Last one in the fridge.
Oh, light beer that is made right. Because it shouldn't feel like a compromise, y'all. It should not. I'm just watching D. Look at him. Sam Adams American Lights American Classic. So smooth. It can hang out with Will to Go Gottlieb. You'll want to crack open another one. And then another one. And then one more after that. And then another one. Why? Because it's always Sam's season. Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light, available now at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Always.
Always.
I'm so glad that last one was just
look
sitting
at
in
so
there.
everything just changed right now.
All right, y'all. Moving right along. Wanted to continue the conversation about Coby and Josh because we are nearing the end of this season and we are nearing that big contract negotiation. Josh Giddey, restricted free agent. And there's also the element of Coby White, who is in year 2 of that very team-friendly 3-year deal he signed.
Yeah.
Along with Ayo Dosunmu's 2 summers ago. And this is the way that we're talking about both of them playing. We're talking about them being this team's backcourt of the future. sorry to burst your bubble, it's Katie and Steven. But still, for the sake of the conversation. And there's been a lot of stuff recently. We did hear from Bobby Marks the official news that the NBA salary cap is going to jump up significantly again, as expected. And also, shout out to our guy Keith Smith, who does great work on NBA contract stuff with Spot Rack. There is the announcement from Bobby Marks. To no one's surprise, he puts it. So the new salary cap will be $154.6 million. The luxury tax line at $187.9. Irrelevant number for Bulls fans because they'll never go past it.
No, that's exactly irrelevant because that's where they're going to.
Well, so yes, that's what they have to stay under because one would assume that the Bulls will again next season try to be a team that operates above the cap and under the tax line.
That would be my assumption. Yeah. And I think I was just talking about this with Dave before we started recording here. And I think one of the things that we have not really specified is the difference between like the money that guys are going to get next year versus like the big picture. How are the Bulls spending their money over the next 5 years or the next, 3-4 years, whatever it is. When you're thinking about Patrick's money is going to be on the books, when you're thinking about whatever you pay Giddey, Kobe and Io needing new contracts after next season. So I think that's kind of a big, the big picture element of this. We're going to talk a lot about Giddey's number and what that ends up being. I think the playoffs or the play-in are going to impact that. Obviously, the way he's playing right now, Dave did a great job breaking down everything that we're seeing from him. I was just looking while you were talking. Giddey's his pre-All-Star true shooting percentage, 54% below league average. Post-All-Star, 67, which is like, I mean, prime DeAndre Jordan, like where all he's doing is catching lobs. So, and Giddey's like average or last year was 54.7, which is below league average, 53.3 the year before that, and a very poor 47.8. So not only is this like way above his career norms, it's like elite for any player. And so I think you have to factor in some regression to the mean when you project him out. And that's exactly what we're doing when we're talking about his number. So let's bring it back to the concept of what are you paying him? And I think many people in the comments are talking about, well, you got to pay him $30 million a year. You got to pay him, whatever. And then some people are like, I just think he's not worth paying, period. And I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. The way he's playing right now, he obviously has earned a contract. And I think you have to factor in everything with that. The way he played pre-All-Star break, the way he's playing now, and however he plays in the postseason. Keith Smith wrote an article. Do we say the number yet from that?
No, we did not.
Well, maybe we can. It was, I believe, 27 per year for 4 years. So 4 years, $108 million.
Correct.
That was the most of any restricted free agent. And I think the market and the what other teams have to offer plays a role there too. The Bulls could just give him $30 million a year and pay him like on the high end of what he probably has earned, or they could get a little bit more leverage by letting him go out and get another offer sheet. There's not a lot of teams that can give out money, and the Nets are really the only one, but is Giddey someone they're going to want to invest heavily in? Possibly. So that could go against the Bulls, but there's really only one team to worry about. So with all that being said, like the difference between 25 and 27 or 27 and 30 is like not that great when you're looking at the cap sheet next year. I think the bigger question is like, do you want to be paying Giddey and Kobe combined $80 million a year in 2 years? Because that's really like the bigger picture part that I was talking about is like, once you pay those two guys and they're making the big money on your roster and you don't want to give out another max contract because you want 9 to 10 very good players and not 3 max contracts, like meaning depth over the big 3 model. It's just hard to continue to add value players onto the roster. And so that's like the bigger issue with paying Giddey, but like the Bulls have already effectively committed to Giddey, right? They traded their premium asset for him. He's got the ball whenever he wants it. Like they're running the offense through him. They've already committed to him. Now it's just a matter of like nickel and diming. And that doesn't feel great, admittedly. Like you don't want to just say, no, you're actually worth 27, not, 28. That's like not super productive, and it doesn't really make that big of a difference long term. I think the bigger thing is just like, how do you build the roster when you're not drafting very high up, where you can get like impact players on cheap contracts, and you've already invested in Giddey, and now you've got to do the same with Kobe. You've got Patrick on there. It's like those things start to compound. And so any one deal in a vacuum is not that big of a deal. But if you are giving out a bunch of bad contracts, it becomes impossible to build a good roster.
And it feels like they're trying to have the guys buy into the actual culture of what they're building. Because when you go to the negotiation table, you can have that and say, hey, we built something. You don't still want to be here and be a part of what we've put together. Because as you mentioned, like Giddey is very comfortable here. Like his numbers continue to show that. And with only one team being available to give him that kind of money, do you want the comfort and a nice check, or do you just want the nice check? And it feels like the Bulls are trying to sell him on both, which is the right way to do it, I think, on the Bulls' part. Actually sell him the culture and the fact that Billy Donovan has gotten this out of you so far about these guys really love playing with you, you know, Kobe and Lonzo and Ayo, and we running, and you got a young guy in Modest, and, you know, of course, you're playing in Chicago where you know the stadium is going to be packed and people can't wait to see you, and you're coming from Oklahoma City. Like, you know, like all of that kind of plays in to the negotiations, I think, at the contract table when you're talking about it. And I think they're both in a rare position where both of them can kind of operate from a position of strength, because I think both of them have arguments on both sides as to why they should give them the contract that they should be getting. One-year deal.
You think about how these negotiations could play out. I mean, the rumor was he wanted $30 million. That's in line with Jalen Suggs, Jalen Johnson, a lot of the guys that got contracts last year. Makes sense why he would have wanted that. Maybe the Bulls were closer to 20 because they were kind of buying low on him. It was an opportunity for them to get a really team-friendly deal. And maybe he's exceeded even the $30 million in terms of the way that he's playing. So if the Bulls could get him for slightly less than that, maybe both sides feel like they won because Giddey's getting something closer to what he wanted.
Exactly.
And the Bulls are still potentially putting themselves in a position to get a value deal. So again, the difference between like 25 and 27 is not that great. A $30 million contract next year is only worth 19.4% of the salary cap. A $27 million deal is 17.5%. So like, this is not a $35 million or a 35% max, a 30% max, like the one that you gave Zach LaVine. Like, it's okay to have these contracts. I think the bigger thing is like, if you could have gotten him for 20 versus 30, that's where these numbers start to make a lot more of a difference. But like, again, 27, 28, 29, all kind of the same.
And I think that that's what, you know, some Bulls fans who are even very on board with keeping Giddey around beyond just the, you know, the expiring deal he arrived on in the trade, is kind of being able to read the tea leaves a little bit before this season started and thought, okay, if they do find a midseason trade for Zach LaVine and or maybe Vooch, turned out to just be Zach, but they found a trade for Zach, we could see a real surge in Giddey's productivity on the back end of the season. And you can say the same thing about Kobe.
Yeah.
That's what City Fen was just asking about in the comments. Like, they are producing like this because Zach is gone, and it is driving up the price, which is why, you know, when he arrived in the trade and Giddey and the Bulls front office both spoke about the fact that he would be entering, you know, a season with a new team on an expiring contract. Can we get a deal done? A deal was not done. You know, I'm not saying that they absolutely should have, and it's unforgivable that they didn't trade for him and then get a deal done with him. But there's a reason you hear about people talk about that all the time, whether it's the NBA or different sports. Like, you're making a big swing to trade for this player, and you want this player. This player needs to get paid. You just traded him. You traded for him. He needs to get paid. He's going to get paid. When do you come together and have him sign the dotted line, and what's the figure next to the dotted line? It's going to be higher now because Giddey is playing like this. And I think that is what some people feared.
Yes.
And it is what it is. Great. They're building around Josh Giddey. Okay. You could have got him for cheaper if you had gotten a deal done a year ago.
But at the same point, like, we would have been losing our minds about whatever number it was because
correct,
he didn't have a chance to prove himself.
I'm losing my mind all the time.
Yeah. Like, if they would have signed him at $25 million a year, it would now at this point be looking like a favorable deal. But like the way he was playing it to start the year, that would be like not at all favorable.
Yeah, I would have blown my top if before this season started they signed him to a multi-year deal with an average annual salary of $25 million.
Johnny brings up a good point in the comments that I want to get to after.
Okay, we'll knock out this ad break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll keep talking about this salary cap stuff as it relates to Giddey and Coby. Hit the like button for crying out loud. Vote in the poll. But first, hit the like.
Do it.
Listen to some ads.
You know, life's been a little crazy. This
Hi.
guy can attest right here. Yeah. See what? Dang, that was some stank on that.
Yeah.
Rolling down the river, that's where. And one thing that it helps him unwind and chill on out, well, some Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies, ladies and gentlemen. Because you have been looking for a natural way to relieve your aches and discomfort. I know Matt Peck has. The CBD gummies from Cornbread Hemp are formulated to work with your body and not against it. He's not as young as he once was, but he cares a lot about maintaining his physical and, most importantly, his mental wellness. Whoa. See that? That's mental wellness coming together right. Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies are a huge piece of the wellness plan for that man, Matt Peck. They only use, ladies and gentlemen, the best part of the hemp plant. That's called the flower. For the purest and most potent CBD, formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleepiness. That rhyme. Woo-hoo. All products are third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. And guess what? It's the only time Matt likes these words. It's organic, it's vegan, and it's gluten-free. It's made with full spectrum CBD for maximum potency. The flower-only extraction means you're not eating no sticks, no stems, no seeds, no leaves, no woozies, and of course, by God, no wazies. And the best part, fast and free shipping with every single order. I didn't stutter. Fast and free shipping is what you get every order. So right now, they're offering CHGO listeners 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/shock. CHGO and use the promo code CHGO at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO and use that code to get 30% off your first order. Ooh.
Ooh. You all right?
Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies.
It's great that they're vegan because that means, you know, they are basically available to anybody regardless if you have allergies here or there. Just like, can we have like some steak flavored ones?
What?
Like, can we have some options?
Steak flavored
Steak flavored CBD gummies. That would put me over the edge, y'all.
You might want to just try a steak at that point.
Well, yeah. Have a cornbread hemp gummy and then eat a big old real steak.
That's a Matt Peck.
That's my system.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Another part of my system is the fine products at Lucy.
Lucy.
Are you thinking about leveling up your nicotine routine? If so, you got to give Lucy a try. Lucy is a nicotine brand that offers pouches as well as breakers, which are pouches that have a little extra bubble in them that you can break open.
Oh.
A little extra flavor, a little extra hydration.
Okay.
These are my Lucy Apple Ice Breakers. I am a very loyal customer of theirs ever since they came on board at CHGO. Former smoker. I don't smoke anymore. Have them for years. These are great. They also offer gum if you prefer that route. They come in a variety of flavors. You got to try them all. Pick your favorite. They also come in a variety of strength as far as the nicotine in each pouch and each piece of gum. Here's the best part, y'all. Skip all the annoying stops at the gas station, the bodega, your local market. Get it delivered straight to your door. Straight to your door. I just got an email yesterday saying, hey, it's your friends at Lucy. Your re-up is on the way.
What?
On the way.
What?
Shows up right at my door, y'all.
Amazing.
It is seriously the best system. I love it. I swear by it. You should give it a try if you're thinking about changing your nicotine habit. Level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Just go to lucy.co/CHGO and use promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your first order. Lucy also has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. There's no risk. What are you waiting for? Give it a try. Again, that is lucy.co, promo code CHGO2025. That's 2025 to get 20% off your order. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age. Every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. All right. So before that ad break, Goat, you were in the middle of a thought about all this contract hoopla.
Yeah, I think it was a comment from Johnny Pigeon.
Johnny
who
Pigeon!
Said, shout out.
What up?
Hey, Johnny
Our
Pigeon.
pal. No other team is offering Giddey over $20 million. The fear is letting him sign the qualifying offer, being pissed about it, and then leaving a year later. I guarantee we'll overpay him because of that. So again, that's where like the market dynamics come into play.
Yeah.
The Nets are the only team that is gonna have like meaningful cap room.
Yes.
And like they're not in a place as a franchise where they're gonna be like investing a ton of money into a 23-year-old. Like I just don't think that's where they are. So I don't really worry that there's a lot of competition out there for him. So yeah, if the Bulls wanted to just leverage this restricted free agency and say, get the best offer you can, we'll match it, or you can take 10 million or whatever, like name a random low number, then they could do that. I don't think they'll do it that way because I agree they like want to keep the relationship good. Like I don't think the difference between 25 and $27 million is really going to damage the relationship all that much. I don't really know if that's even possible, but I think the bigger thing is just like you have to be careful about like how much you weigh, because to Dave's point about like how well he's playing, like we've seen a long stretch of him where he was not playing well. And then we're seeing a short stretch of him playing well. And then he has all this previous career information about the way he played in the playoffs, the way that he played during his first couple of years in OKC, that's informing what your opinion of him is and how you're evaluating him. And so you can't just be a prisoner of the moment and look at the last 12 games and say, this guy's a max player, but you can't also say he hasn't improved, because I think he really has. So that's where like the challenge comes in finding the right number. But I think the Bulls, if they want to come in with an offer that's like reasonable, I think they're going to be in a position, regardless of where that falls on the spectrum of what he wanted, they're not going to be in a position where they're like really harming it, because at a certain point, like I would imagine it feels a lot worse to know that, you know, you're getting slightly lowballed from your own team versus nobody else in the league wants to sign you.
Yeah. And two things. One, that's why I was previously brought up 1-year deal for Josh Giddey, was for those reasons, because the Nets are it. And I don't think he wants to, again, as I mentioned before, I don't think that's a team he wants to go to. It'll be wild. The Bulls wouldn't do it. I understand that. But it was something that they could have used, you know, say if they wanted to use it, it's there. But they won't. We get that. But I just like saying 1-year deal. Because it messes with people.
And then the final.
But the other side of it, Will, is you mentioned that he is playing well. It's not just that he's playing well. He's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Is it that, and that's why you worry about it being sustainable. Is out of your mind your new baseline? You know, is that it? Is 22, 10, and 9 what you expect from Josh Giddey? That would be awesome. Like, I would want that. That would be cool, and I'm here for it. But it's just something that we haven't seen, you know what I'm saying, in his career. And to ramp it up now over this 12-game stretch to where he's been really good, that's what gives you a little cause to pause, and you're wondering, like, okay, is this the real thing? Or is it something that's going to come back down to earth? Because, I mean, I just don't believe he'll shoot, you know, in the 50s from the three-point line. If he continues that, yes, yes, truly. If he continues to do that, that would be awesome. It would be amazing for himself and for Chicago Bulls and for all of us Bulls fans out there. But I'm just curious to see what that baseline is going to be for him, Will, because when you're playing like he is, that's when people saying giving him everything, and then you have some people saying, I don't know. And there has to be a middle, just like in Giddey's game. There has to be a middle ground somewhere. And I do think the Bulls and Josh Giddey will definitely find it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that's why, to me, there is value in going to the playoffs, because let's say the Bulls finish where they are in the tankathon order right now, which is, I believe, 11th. They have a 9.4% chance of moving up.
You just had that ready.
If they move up to 15th, they would obviously have a 0% chance. So I don't know what the answer to this is, but like, is 9.4% chance to move into the top 4 worth like the cost of the information that you could get by seeing Giddey in the playoffs, and that informing your decision to pay him? Like, if that saves you $5 million on a Giddey contract per year, is that worth it? If it costs you $5 million per year, but you know this guy was awesome in the playoffs, and now we really feel confident about building around him. So I think that factors in. And then the Kobe situation factors in too. The way Kobe's playing right now, like, he's going to get $35-40 million.
Yeah.
And again, this is not something that you can just say, Kobe is scoring 35 points in 3 straight games, you got to max contract him. Like, that's just not how it works.
Right.
But because of Kobe's contract and the fact that he is on such a cheap deal, the Bulls cannot extend him. You're only allowed to give a player 140% of the final year of your deal, which is like $12.5 million for Kobe. which means they could only offer him $17, $18 million a year, which means there's no way he's going to take that when he could get double on the open market. So I think the Bulls have to get Giddey at a number that allows them to also pay Coby and also have free space to sign a free agent in 2026. I saw a comment asking like who they might sign. In 2026, that's when more free agents are coming off the board. And you can use that space in trades too, to sign guys, to take back more money in an uneven trade. So I think just that flexibility is really important. And we learned that lesson the hard way the last 3 years when the Bulls were above the cap, below the tax, and they had zero mobility to be able to go out and make trades to add players because they had no financial flexibility. And so reserving that, I think, is really important when you're thinking long-term about how do you fit Coby and Giddey and whoever else that you want to keep around, whether it's Io or Lonzo or Modest or whoever. How do you fit all those guys within the salary cap, but then also give yourself a chance to bring in more talent because you're just not doing that through the draft in terms of high-end lottery.
Right. And I saw somebody early on in the comments, like as we were just getting going, saying like, you can't pay Coby big too. Like you got to keep him on like, you know, a cheaper team-friendly deal. And it's like, that's not possible. Like, oh, okay, hear us out, Coby. We know that you've been playing great. You've put up all-star numbers after the all-star break. How'd you like to keep this 3 years, 21 thing going? I think that works well for everybody. Works great for us. How about you, Coby?
The same thing applies to Io, who is underpaid for what he provides. So the Bulls I think the question about Giddey is not so much about like he is X, Y, and Z as a player. It's more about how are you thinking long-term about fitting all these puzzle pieces together and also bringing in more talent because you're just not doing that through the draft at this point.
They don't like the draft.
In terms of like getting to the top of the draft.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
There's a comment that I think kind of wraps up this conversation nicely.
Go for it.
Echo57 saying, can we get a best guess, I can't talk, from all three of you on what the Giddey contract will look like when it's done? Not what you want, but your best guess of what will actually happen.
I think the projection that was made in the article was pretty much it. The 4 years, $108 million for Giddey. I think that will be what he gets. Yeah, I mean, he'll be deserving of it if he continues his play and what he's doing right now, especially with that Patrick Williams contract. What's he getting, $18 million a year? So yeah, we're actually paying for somebody who's doing something out there. So I think he'll get that. I don't have a problem with Giddey getting his money or getting anything like that. Yeah, he'll get that. I think he'll get that around 25, 26, 27 mil. He'll get around that.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I do trust Keith's evaluation of guys. Last year, he had Patrick Williams at 5 for 100. He ended up coming in at 590. So he's pretty much on the money with that kind of thing. I would say like before All-Star break, I was thinking 18 to 20 for Giddey.
Okay.
Right now, he's probably playing closer to 30. Where does that net out? Maybe somewhere between like 26 and 28. I think that seems reasonable. I think he'd be happy making that much money because, I mean, the thing about the qualifying offer is if he takes $11 million next year when he could have had 28, that's a $17 million cut that he's taking on next season too. So that factors in as well to just guarantee that raise for yourself. That's probably where I go. But again, I think so much of this is going to depend on the actual meaningful games and seeing what he looks like in the playoffs or in the play-in when maybe a team does decide to dare him to shoot. Can he still make those shots? Or can he get to the foul line? Yeah. Or maybe, you know, teams are trying to target him and pick and roll and pick him apart. Like, is he able to withstand that? And right now he's playing like he can. But again, these are a small sample of games in a wonky part of the season. Like, I want to see what that looks like in meaningful minutes so that I can really get a sense of who he is. But right now, I would say 26 to 28 is probably what I would guess.
Katie, can you bring up that question again? Oh, how exactly was it phrased? Sure, no problem. Because I have a different answer, I think.
Sure.
Can we get your best guess from all three of you on what the Giddey contract will look like when it's done? You could take the phrase "when it's done" to mean something different, not like when it's signed and it's official.
Okay.
What about when the Josh Giddey contract is like done? What does it look like? 4 or 5 more play-in tournament appearances for your beloved Chicago Bulls. That's what it looks like. Let's all have fun. Sign me up.
I was wondering what he was
4
doing.
more years. 4 more years.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though, with reserving space to bring in more talent. Because as good as they're playing right now, again, you want to see if it can sustain. You want to see if it operates this way at the highest level in the playoffs. But like, I think as great as they're playing right now, I have reservations about what their actual ceiling is. Are they just building the next great Bulls 40-win team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or are they actually trying to compete for something?
No.
And, you know, if the answer is yes, then you got to be able to have not only have ways to get them, but have space to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And if you're not doing it by tanking and trying to get the highest draft pick possible, you got to either do it via free agency or trades. And so you got to be able to do it one of those two ways. And if you don't have any cap space, you're not going to be able to do it either of those two ways.
You're going to need money to get better players.
Yeah.
What a concept.
Did Dave say 4 years, 180?
I'm so
no 108, bro.
Yeah, 108. Fluktos. Go ahead.
I'm so annoyed by the way that David Lithgow is talking about this. Like, Goat has given into Giddey. It's not like I'm like
David's
giving
close.
into it. It's like
David tweets at me being like, "You love Giddey, man. You know it."
Love
like,
your name though.
you just take the information that is in front of you and you figure out how to evaluate that based on your priors and based on your projections.
Right.
It's like it's
It doesn't
He's
all
playing
have
well.
to be groupthink, by the way.
he's playing well. You give him credit for that. He's playing poorly. You
bottom
recognize
line.
that. It's
Yeah.
like,
That's
it's
how I
not. It's really not that
It's
complicated.
not resisting something and then giving into it.
It's
But
about-
that's here. Okay, so that's my biggest problem. Because
Okay.
my biggest problem is not Josh Giddey.
Okay.
It is the Josh Giddey committee who are this stubbornly, just like relentlessly clawing at those of us who are not like, oh yeah, future first ballot Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
multi-time All-NBA player, going to lead the Bulls to the promised land.
Yeah.
They're like, just give in, just admit it. Like, yo, are you okay? We can have different opinions about things. That's okay.
It's all right.
That's okay.
Sports.
That's okay.
It's all right. I promise you. I just
No, it's not okay.
I just want the consistency of, some of my dads used to say to me all the time, bro, actually to every one of us, because I'm the youngest of 6, he used to say
Flex.
this to us all the time. When we would bring him home something and it would be good, like a good grade or whatever, you know what I'm saying, something we did really well, he would always say, the first thing out of his mouth was, I hope you keep it up. Always. And that was just to encourage you to continue to keep doing it, because you're only as good as your next one. You're not as good as your last one. You're as good as your next one. Can you do it over and over and over and over again? Because that way you become great, and that way you get a bigger, fatter check, and you get that respect that comes with it. It's not about the person who did it once. You know what I mean? As the saying go, like, buying the mansion, anybody can do. The hard part is keeping it. It's about the consistency. And so that's what it comes to for me with Josh Giddey. When I see these 12 games, and he's been absolutely amazing, and he's just been phenomenal and great. I haven't known a star-level Josh Giddey kind of player. So can it be consistent? Can he do it over and over and over and over and over again? That's when you start saying, okay, we got something. Because we've seen many Bulls players have just short stints where they've looked really good. And guys were like, well, you're paying them on that. Pay them on that potential. Give them a chance because we saw what they can do. Not what we've seen them consistently do, but we saw the flashes of it. With Josh Giddey, we've seen a flash of just, damn, this dude is out of this world. My only question will always be, can he keep it up? Because I want him to keep it up. Because if he keeps it up, that means the Bulls are better. You're better if this is the Josh Giddey that you're getting. And I would love that to be the case. But I'm going to be a little skeptical because of the sample size I've seen before. Let me see him keep doing it and doing it well. Shout out LL Cool J.
And just another quick answer to one of the comments about, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was saying like Quickly got 175. I think his actual number was 162 over 5 years. Suggs got 150. That's 30 a year over 5 years. The 108 number that Keith Smith wrote was over 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's 127. It would be like 137 and a half or something like that. 138 over 5
So
years.
4108 is basically, a couple million ticks above 25 a year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, like
It's the wheelhouse that I think
it's
most people would just sort of accept as a compromise.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly what I was gonna say. That's the range that I'm predicting. But also like I think the players are gonna look at Emmanuel Quickley's number and say, I want that much money. He got that much. I want that much. And if I'm a team, I'm saying, yeah, that's a terrible contract. I don't want that on my books. So sorry, you're not getting that. Like just because a player got that much doesn't mean it's a good contract. And I think that's a thing that the Bulls have to be careful about.
Surely. All right. Did you have something?
I have a couple things if you don't mind.
Throw them at me. I'm done.
I think there's a lot of things at play here, and I say this as someone who has to read the comments on all of our streams, and as someone who gets a lot of weird DMs from people who watch our show.
You're a very brave soul.
Thank you.
Stop being weird.
Stop being weird in my DMs,
People
please.
are weird. The internet's a crazy place.
It is. I think that there's a huge difference between, and I mean this respectfully, like genuinely, I'm not trying to be rude to anyone. I think there's a huge difference between Bulls fans and Josh Giddey fans.
100%.
We want different things. Josh Giddey fans, that fans of any one player, want that player to get paid and to ball out.
And to get showered with glory for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Players of a team want to do what's best for the team,
fans
even
of the team.
if it's
Yeah.
Yes, fans of the team want to do what's best for the team, even if it's uncomfortable for a few years, even if it means letting go of a player that has only shown you potential. And I said this to a friend the other day.
Hi, friend.
You cannot pay a player based on potential, just like you cannot date a dude based on potential. Just because some guy brings flowers to a date, takes you to a nice dinner, you have a lovely conversation for one date, it does not mean that's going to happen a month from now. It does not mean that he's not going to go back to ghosting your text messages in a week. You have to see.
Why do I feel like my gender is now being attacked?
Seriously.
No. I'm not talking about you. You guys are all lovely people. I just mean like in general, you have to see the consistency out of a dude before you decide to date him. And I think it's the same with a player. Like you can't just see one good month, 2 good months. If you want a long-term relationship, you have to know that this person is going to put in the work and is going to show up and answer all your text messages for months at a time.
Yeah, okay. Let me just make an amendment. Fish saying I can't date a dude on potential. Damn it! Regardless of what your gender is and what gender you are interested in, that is just a generally true statement for human beings. That isn't okay. You framed it as a girl looking for a guy today.
Because I'm a woman who dates men.
That's fair. I'm just saying, if you want to expect greatness, you got to be willing to provide greatness yourself in any sort of partnership. All right.
You don't have to bring flowers every day, guys.
That is basically what I'm saying.
Definitely
Where are
not.
my flowers?
I
Katie,
did
huh?
not. No, I did not.
Where's the door being open for me? Okay.
I did not mean to imply that you need
Equality
to bring.
means equality.
I know, Katie.
In every sense, okay?
Let us mess with you, Katie.
This is a dating podcast now, okay? I did not
I'm
mean to
fine with
imply
that.
that.
Let's
yeah,
take
we
a
can
left
get to
turn.
that, yeah.
And by the way, I
Take
open
that
the
turn.
door for men all the time.
That's
Not
very
100% of the time, but 50% of the time.
Just open
So-
doors for people.
And
in general, if they
I
don't
buy
suck.
flowers for men sometimes too, if they're the kind of guy that like that. Some guys don't like that. My point is consistency. I'm consistent. Are you consistent?
She said, "Be consistent."
How did
in
we
your
get here?
love.
I don't know.
Here,
I don't
it's
know,
great.
but now we're here.
I like it.
I wanted to stop talking about Giddey's contract, so now we're here.
Consistency.
Consistency.
There you go.
Damn
You hear
right.
that, Josh Giddey? You better be bringing Katie some flowers.
Flowers.
The first time you come through for an appearance on CHGO Bulls.
Hold that door open.
Yeah.
That's right, buddy.
Stanislavicos
hold the door
said, but these guys in your DMs show so much potential. Man, I am betting they do not.
P. Will getting paid on potential. Way to get that back. Very
The
true.
strangers who
Very true.
slide into other people's DMs on the internet in general, whatever the app,
Yeah.
generally not a trustworthy bunch.
Jail.
Yeah. Jail.
Straight to jail. Oh, that would be great. There's plenty of people I'd love to send to jail. Before we get out of here, the last thing we want to touch on, Bulls head coach Billy Donovan did chat with some of the fine folks over at 670 The Score earlier today. I think he was on the morning show, William Hall, talking about a lot of winning stuff. Is there that one quote that we wanted to pull, Katie, to kind of talk about this a little bit? let's take a look at what Billy had to say. There's something really, really powerful in players that are younger. At some point in their career, they've got to impact winning. The reality is we've got a chance to play meaningful games, and that's going to help Modest. It's not just like, hey, regular season's over with. We're not playing for anything. Let's just roll him out for 35 minutes and just see what the guy can do. We've heard Billy echo similar sentiments to these before in the season, oftentimes when being asked about Modest, his growth, and his allotment of minutes. But it is a bigger conversation than that, and I think a bigger ideology than that in the mind of Billy Donovan, which is playing meaningful games means something. As simple and as like obvious and duh as that statement sounds, playing meaningful games means more than playing games that are not meaningful. And the grind of March regular season in the NBA, different people put, different stock into March wins for a team that is middling or under 500, right? Yeah. That's fine. The player and the coach and his players are getting ready to, play in games that mean like there are actual stakes.
Yeah, I think the difference, and that's for me is the biggest difference. Like if the Washington Wizards were going on just, a tear, and just winning games.
They pretty much just did, actually.
Exactly. Getting Middleton and all that, they've been an above 500 team. If you look at it since the All-Star break, they've really been pretty solid. But it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like they're getting wins and stuff like that, but it's not meaningful. These wins the Bulls are getting are meaningful because they have to do with your actual postseason play. And that's what's meaningful about them. And for Billy and what he's saying right here, like you have to put guys in these situations and find out if they can do it. And he mentions Modest and stuff like that. Now, there have definitely been times where we've seen Modest not be in those situations where there were, something meaningful and things were going on, and Billy would take him out the game, or, something would happen where we wouldn't see him on the floor again for those meaningful situations. That's definitely happened. It's happened recently, for it. But I understand what Billy is saying, and for me, what Billy is talking about is how you want your coach, honestly, to be speaking. Like, he wants to win. Like, that's the coach you want your coach to win. The stuff we're talking about isn't on, the coach or the players. I don't put that on the coach or the players at all. That has to do with, kind of the front office and what position that they want to take for this team. But Billy Donovan wants to win, and playing meaningful games down the stretch, he feels will help his young guys. I tend to agree with him on that. It will help guys like Modest being in that situation. So as he continues to grow and get older and go and get the next season, it won't be, any sweat off his back. He'll be a little more understanding about the situation, maybe a little more careful with the basketball, maybe not trying, to do certain things on the floor that maybe he's just learning right now because he's a rookie. So those things can happen, and I get Billy with what he's saying, and I'm just not against that, because Billy's job is to win. Billy always wants to win as a coach, and that's exactly how I want my coach to think.
Yeah, I think I do tend to agree with that in the sense that, like, if you want a guy to become a winning player, if you want him to develop into a winning player, you have to start developing winning habits. You have to start by developing him into a player that plays a certain style. You can only play that style if you are in a system that is geared towards winning. And I understand that. I don't know if I think that, like, that's the only way to do it, though. I have come around a lot on that concept, especially with what Kobe said the other week and the way Billy has talked about it. Like, I do think that is making more sense to me. However, I don't think that, like, just because the Raptors are completely mailing it in this year, that, like, Scotty Barnes is not going to be a great player. Right? Like, I think just because you have moments in time where you play less serious basketball does not mean that you can never play serious basketball. I do think that is maybe a slippery slope where, you could start to develop some losing culture and losing tendencies, and it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks kind of thing. But I don't necessarily think that just because you are in a situation that isn't necessarily all about winning doesn't mean that Modest couldn't have gotten a lot better this year if he was playing 36 minutes from the start.
Sure.
Again, I do actually think that the way that the Bulls have approached it, because I think Modest is really raw. I think he's not, like, ready to play 36 minutes at a high level. I think the Bulls have approached it well with him specifically. But if they get lucky in the lottery and, like, Cooper Flagg is on the Bulls next year, I would expect he plays 36 minutes a game because, one, he's that good and he's that ready, but two, because I think he can contribute to winning right away. So it's not that they're completely separate ideas. And I think that the concept of like it has to only be this way is maybe a little they're placing a little bit too much importance on it. But I have really come around on that concept over the course of the year.
And I don't mind it because he still picked a lane, as a coach. Like, yeah, you could say, no, I wish you thought a little more this way, or I agree with this, agree with that. But the fact that he's like, no, this is the lane. This is what we're going down. It's right, it's wrong, whatever. He has chosen one. And they're going to go down it, man. Do we go down it with him as a fan? Sure.
And look, the thing that I can respect about what Billy is saying, talking about meaningful games, whether it be a young guy like Modest or anybody else on this team right now, and Billy's philosophy, he said it really plays a factor in player development, and it also puts these guys in situations that they haven't been in before. I think when you take the focus off of winning, aka taken, you miss a big point of what's going to happen in the future. At some point, these guys are going to be put in a situation of where now winning becomes important. So, it's like, it's a tired old trope, the whole like building winning habits thing. And as a fan of a team that has not done a whole lot of winning recently, Bulls haven't won a playoff series in a decade, y'all. Let's remember that.
In a minute.
It's not like Billy's been in charge that entire decade, but this team has not, this fan base has not seen them win a playoff series in a decade. So the natural instinct is to roll your eyes when you talk about winning culture stuff and winning being important and more important than like adding talent that your team desperately needs to then actually do some winning. But when you put yourself in Billy's shoes or the shoes of one of these players, of course it makes sense.
Sure.
Which is, again, why I've always said, Billy and the players aren't the people I'm mad at, y'all. I'm mad at the people who are building the team and aiming for, talent-wise, a mediocre roster. Because an NBA roster that is mediocre will get mediocre results 99 times out of 100.
I think that's a really important point with this too, is like, I think by saying that, and again, this is Billy's job is not to worry about what happens, from a front office perspective in the draft or from, in 3 years time. Like, he's worried about doing his job, which is winning the games in front of him. So I'm in total agreement there, but I do think that this assumes that, just because you have a winning culture means that you're going to win games. And it's that I think is not true. Just because you have a winning culture does not mean you're going to win games. It might mean that you win more games than maybe your talent suggests, or maybe you win 35 or 40 games or whatever.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that you're going to be a championship caliber team.
Right.
At the end of the day, talent is more important than a winning culture. And so if you don't have that talent, it doesn't matter what the culture is, you're going to lose anyway. You're going to be mediocre anyway. And that's where the Bulls have been.
Which locker rooms have a lot of dysfunction that they then harness?
Winning
rosters. With all NBA Hall of Fame caliber players on them who all have egos. And then it's about having the right coach and system to manage those egos. KD and Steph made it work for a couple of chips. MJ, Scotty, Dennis. Egos everywhere.
Yeah.
They made it work. Like, Kobe and Shaq did not like each other. Three-peat. That matters more than learning how to win. And we all love each other.
And I mean, like, you can try to emulate the Spurs and do it that way, but like, you still need Tim Duncan.
Yeah. He was good.
Yeah. That's what I've been told.
Oh, man. But look.
And to their credit, like, Kobe and Giddey are taking huge steps forward.
Colossal steps.
And like, that is contributing to the talent part, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, you've got a foundation of some talented pieces, but are you just building to the next, back to the next middle ground, or are you going to somehow find a way to bring in an additional like star player? I'm not saying those guys can't be stars, but like an additional star so that you can get above that. And I think that's where we're all still, we have questions.
Stars are good. I'd like one.
Sure. I thought I was just going to say more likes. Hit the like button, by the way, before we get out of here.
It's a good guess.
And that's going to do it for those of you watching on our streaming services. Get the bonus coverage, allchgo.com. Quick reminder, we are going to hang out for Bulls OKC this coming Monday, the 31st of March, at Hooters on Wells, downtown Chicago, 660 North Wells Street. We will be there doing an extended hour-long pregame show live from 6 p.m. Central Time, leading up to that 7 p.m. tip-off. come hang out with us.
Yeah.
Delicious bevies, $6 margs, Dave.
Yeah.
Delicious
yeah.
wings. And your fellow Bulls fans. Come
Yeah.
hang out. No ticket required. No need to RSVP. Just come show up and take advantage of the great deals and the good vibes.
Yeah.
The backcourt of the future will be there. I can confirm.
Yeah.
So
Katie, Steven.
Katie and Steven. Yeah. Because Coby and Giddey, not the Bulls backcourt of the future, will be playing in the game.
They did win the poll, though. I put up a poll about the backcourt of the future. Kobe
saw
and
that.
Giddey won. Yeah.
Kobe and Giddey won the poll?
Yeah.
How close were you and Steven?
Not even. Like 10%.
Oh.
You got some votes.
Was among that 10%. Katie.
Shout out to the 10%. Nothing wrong with that, baby.
God.
It's a wonderful thing.
Broom's our guy. What up in the comments saying? I think we just need to bring LeBron to Chicago. It's
Yeah.
the only way.
Yeah.
Matt would agree, I'm sure.
Would you? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if he'd be cool with that.
Old man LeBron?
I'll
Hey,
take old man
it would
LeBron.
bring more eyes to our program. I wouldn't hate that part of it.
I'd take old man LeBron.
Did you see he went on McAfee earlier today?
Yes, he did.
Said some stuff.
As my boy said, dude, like this was an airing of grievances.
Dude.
This was Frank Costanza.
Windy, Stephen A, MJ.
I got a lot of problem with you people.
Players in the 70s.
He really tried to
Windhorse?
He really tried to say, LeBron really tried to say, I didn't sign with Nike because MJ signed with Nike. I signed with Nike because they offered me X amount of dollars, and it was all about them wanting me.
That's fair.
Why is Nike the biggest, most coveted brand among professional basketball players when it comes to shoes and shoe deals?
Because Michael Jordan.
Is it because Michael Jordan turned them into that?
Yeah. I was quite entertained by
LeBron's a clown, man.
all of it was entertaining to me because I'm a wrestling fan. So I was like, this is just
I do
him
wonder.
talking. You know what I mean? He was just going in on stuff, man. Like he was getting on his old man soapbox and just going in and letting it out. And I'm like, sure, go ahead.
It's LeBron. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
knock that
also
out.
do wonder how many points Giannis would score in the 1970s. I don't know about 250, but it would be a lot.
250.
It would be a lot.
Oh,
I mean,
my
have you
goodness.
seen pictures of like Wilt Chamberlain? I mean,
Yeah.
there's no way that dude is guarding Giannis.
No.
Oh man.
And he was the biggest and baddest then.
Yeah,
Giannis
Wilt
would
Chamberlain
score triple digits for sure.
he would.
We'll change it.
We will get out of here for today. Good news. Bulls back in action tomorrow, taking on LeBron and the
Yeah.
Lakers.
Yeah.
We'll see if he's load managing or not.
They got a game tonight. So second half of back-to-back. Again, the Bulls are on the benefiting end of that one.
That's nice. I thought you were talking about the Bulls for a second. I was like, wait, what? Then why did we just do this podcast?
The Lakers.
Oh, it is late March, y'all.
Take a sip, man.
Woo!
Just go ahead. Let it melt away.
So we will be back tomorrow for pregame, 6:30 Central Time, before a 7 p.m. tip. 7 p.m. tip! Hallelujah! The Bulls are back home. Goat will be doing his thing on the beat at the UC. Will join us for postgame. Uncle Will will be back tomorrow. So look forward to that as well. Woo! Hit the like for
She didn't believe in
the
that
woo
one.
girl over here. Hit the like because it's the best thing you can do that isn't sending Katie flowers.
This is correct.
Read Goat stuff, allchgo.com. Become a diehard so you can, in fact, read all of it, the best of it. Big Dave is about BWL Sports. Go to Will_Gottlieb. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Shout out to the Queen of the Controls back in the South, the one with Kate Duffy. Have a great night, Bulls Nation. We will talk to you for pregame tomorrow. See you right back.
Fellas, be gentlemen.
Yes.
Peace.
Chivalry is done.
We all silly like the mayor.